So when I moved to Finland a few years ago, I thought I knew what I was getting myself into. You know, the beautiful nature, the lovely long summers, and the beautiful women. But things haven't been so easy and straightforward moving here to Finland as a foreigner. So today I want to talk about my experience living here in Finland and all of the things that I have found challenging. So I want to say welcome to everybody and tervetuloa to all the Finnish people watching. But let's get straight into the video. And I need to go inside because it is freezing up here. So here we are at the app station. And just before we get into the video, please do subscribe right now. This is a brand new channel I'm working on. So hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell really helps me out. Moving to Finland can be really hard, especially if you're from a place where the culture is just polar opposite. So I'm going to talk a bit about the struggles I've faced moving here and also how I've been able to really get used to the place, fully integrate into kind of Finnish culture and start to enjoy the way things go here. Now, the first thing that might be a huge struggle, and definitely was for me when moving to Finland, is just the difference in culture and also the social norms and the etiquettes. Now, because I've traveled to so many countries and I've lived in many countries and I've just been all over the world, I personally am a firm believer in when you go to a country, you respect the way things go there and you really, make some effort to learn a bit of the language and learn about the people and the things that they find respectful and the things they find disrespectful. So when I came here, I was like, all right, let's see how everything goes. Of course, I knew a bit more about Finland than the average person, so I was in a very lucky position because I am half Finnish. But still, being an Australian born and raised, fresh from Hong Kong, it's very different to come to a place like this. Now, there were many little things I picked up on. For example, shoes inside. These are simple things like you don't wear shoes inside in a Finnish home. It's super rude and it's just something you don't do. I remember meeting some new friends, going to their places and kind of just walking in like an asshole with my shoes on and they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, take your shoes off. I was like, oh, sorry, things like that. And also just the general culture of like how people tend to operate here. Of course, this is like a big generalization, so take it with a grain of salt. When you're in an enclosed space and there's strangers there, like keep distance, don't like invade people's space or invade people's thoughts and, the whatever they're thinking about. Because me, I'm like a very talkative person. I'm outgoing. I like to meet new people. And I realized sometimes that my small talk wasn't always, it wasn't the best time to do it. And I probably should just like shut up and let someone be alone. So that's definitely something I picked up on. The culture will be very different coming here. And I think it's great to learn about the Finnish history, the people here, everything like that. It'll help you so much when you come here. Now, let's talk about masennus. Now, I only just learned this term from the last video I posted. Many Finns came and commented that what I was going through was masennus, which is basically the real term for winter depression.
Jännitys jatkuu siis talvimaratonissa. Eli winter is coming.
I am telling you right now, if you are a foreigner either moving here or just moved here, you are going to deal with this, especially if you come from a country like me, if you come from Australia or you come from Asia, somewhere warm, or in Africa, whatever it is, this is going to shock you because we are used to long days, lots of sun, beautiful beaches, and like a very comfortable temperature all year round. Not gonna happen here. I'm sorry. The gods of Finland just decided that that's not gonna happen, and you're going to deal with a lot of darkness, a lot of wetness, a lot of cold, and it's gonna last ages, and you're gonna think you're going insane. But just prepare for it and understand. Okay, I was about to lie to you guys. I was about to say you're gonna get used to it. You may never get used to it because I haven't. That's going to be a struggle. So big struggle. Get ready for it. Buy a nice winter jacket. I don't know. Another thing that might be a struggle for foreigners moving here. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a struggle so much for me. When business was going bad, it was a struggle for me, but the cost of living here in Helsinki and just in Finland in general, I wanted to talk a bit about. Finland is not the most expensive country in the world, but it's definitely not the cheapest. I've been to countries like Monaco and Switzerland, and I've seen like what big prices actually look like. Also Dubai, for example. So I've seen countries that are ridiculously expensive, but Finland is definitely up there just because let's say if you live in the metropolitan area in Helsinki, your rent is already going to be fairly pricey if you're somewhere, local like here. And on top of that, all Finns would agree with me that groceries aren't that cheap. I mean, you can find cheap things, but in general, you're spending a fair bit on food and just your general living, your gas for your car. And then on top of all of that, you're going to be paying taxes. And taxes are fairly high here in Finland. So when you put all of that together, I think the average amount of money someone here has left over isn't that much each month. So definitely prepare for the cost and understand there's going to be a lot of costs involved living here and moving here. But, that can be said the same if you could move to London or if you move to, Frankfurt. So, it's unfortunately just the way things seem to be going on a global scale is that prices are increasing. But Finland is fairly pricey, and that may be a struggle for many foreigners, especially ones who struggle with finding work. Now, from what I know, there's a pretty good social system here that will support you in that case. But all that I ask is do not exploit it. And if you need the assistance, take it. But it's always good to be looking for work and getting involved, because that's another thing too, when it comes to just getting involved in the Finnish culture and being able to meet people here, you need to have hobbies and things that you do, and work can be a great one. You can meet friends through work. You can meet friends that will introduce you to new hobbies through work. So it's very important to work. Finally, we can talk about the bureaucratical side of things. It's a little bit boring and wasn't that complex for me, but maybe harder for other people, is that, you know, I am half Finnish. So when I moved to Finland, I was already a citizen. So I didn't have to do any things with visas or residencies or anything like that, any permits. So I'm very lucky in that case. I'm sure many people have had much harder experiences on that front. But, you know, when you come here, it's very important to learn just simply how the systems work. For example, how to notify that you're moving to another place within Finland. It's good to learn how to do that through the Posti system. Or, you know, how to pay your taxes and entering the tax registry and ALV and these things if you're running a business. It's very important to learn these things. I did not do it initially when I first came here, and then I kind of really had to relearn these things quickly, and it was quite hard. I didn't really know how to operate business here. I didn't know how the setups worked, like what's the difference really between toiminimis or having an OU, or these things. But eventually I realized I had to really take, you know, these things more seriously. So I found a good accountant. That's very important. Find an accountant that will help you heavily if you're doing business here in Finland. So that's really what I wanted to get into, was just like my struggles moving here as a foreigner, immigrant, whatever you want to call me. But I want to make it really clear that this is just my experience, and some people will have better experiences than me, and some people may have far worse experiences than me. That is the beauty here of the internet, is that we all have the opportunity to tell our story. And because we can tell our story, others can find things within that to relate to, and it may help them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on all my platforms, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.